Do you ever wonder what happens to the food at the end of the day at places like this? This? Or this? Well, most likely it ends up in the garbage. This at a time when over 4 million Canadians are forced to choose between paying the bills and eating. And that number has exploded during the pandemic, when nearly 860,000 Canadians lost their jobs.
Typically, when you think about food insecurity, you're thinking of people who are homeless, or you're thinking of young people struggling to make ends meet, or single moms. But COVID has really sort of changed that demographics. People have lost their jobs. People are losing their homes. People just can't make ends meet. So when you deliver a box of food, you see a beautiful house, but they're strapped and they're hungry. So the demographics has changed quite a bit.
Bello is with South Vancouver Family Place, one of many places to start a food program. They started in March of 2020, helping 300 families in need. Well, that number tripled in just 2 months. That's when he met Tristan Jagger, a local mom with 4 kids. When she found out that 1 out of every 6 kids was already going to school hungry, and that number was about to increase because of the pandemic, she decided to do some research. She ended up finding an app that connects stores and restaurants with extra food to charities and food banks, and the timing couldn't have been better.
We started getting calls from tons of restaurants, tons of people in the food industry saying that were closing down and they had excess food. We have over 135 food suppliers, so people that are giving us food on a weekly basis, including about 84 charity recipients. So we drop off at about 84 charities in Vancouver.
Tristan started Vancouver Food Runners with just 40 volunteers at the start of the pandemic, and in 9 months grew to 1,000 volunteers. She wants that number to continue to grow.
We actually are looking for more volunteers. We have a lot of food suppliers stepping up right now to give excess food, and we need more drivers. So would like to grow our volunteer pool to about 1,700 this year.
Access food for this program isn't just coming from large restaurants and produce suppliers, but also local pizza joints.
And we all know kids love pizza. So right away I said, great, let's do it. So we started picking up at 2 locations of Fresh Slice and driving them to a program called Kids Safe, which was working with all the kids at elementary schools once the pandemic hit and the schools shut down. And now we currently pick up at 14 different Fresh Slices across the city.
Volunteer Tim is retired and has a truck. Today, he's taking pizza to a loving spoonful who will then give it to hungry kids after school. He says the app makes it easy to be a volunteer.
Allows them to do that. You just pick when you want, what you want, and then the size of the project, 2 boxes to 50 boxes.
The Food Runner app lets you volunteer when you can on the day of or as a regular routine. There's no obligation to fulfill a certain amount of hours. Every drop-off makes you a food rescue hero. The easy-to-use app shows locations with guided maps plus contact information for everyone involved. Once it gets to places like this, volunteers bag the food for those who would otherwise not be eating. In Vancouver, I'm Kaljit Kayla.